All right, so for the monthly report, then we'll just go through it quickly. But I'll start out with saying that this image here is interesting. But as I was saying before, we had a little issue. And none of these plants you're going to be able to pick up. You're not going to be able to interact with any of this stuff. It's just art. It looks cool, but it makes you think that maybe one day you'll be able to do stuff like that. It's just not going to. But last month, AI feature team continue with traits, berserker enemy types that are more aggressive. Again, as always, every report not going to see much there, but AI human female combat animations are things, so that might be something you actually see. Perception work. This is basically finally making the demos that they've made the past few years where NPCs are perceiving dead players, or maybe there's some stealth that you're able to do because there's a perception meter for detecting a player as a foe. So maybe that'll be a thing. Navigation links. Extended navigation links for doors to allow NPCs to use the entire width of doors. So that's just walking to and from. This is 100% Squadron 42 stuff. Subsumption editor. More AI perception, audio perception. So again, I think that they're working in some stealth missions for Squadron, and hopefully, but I would not hold my breath on it, we see some of that stuff in the PU. AI vehicles work together for AI targeting things other than vehicles, such as turrets, components, and stations. This, combined with special behaviors for strafing runs, allows the AI to perform attack runs on stations. Why would the AI attack a station? That's an interesting one to think about. Probably a Squadron 42 thing, because I can't think of a PU scenario where that would be a thing. Animations, facial animation. I think we saw that last month too. Including lines for rescue transport gameplay. Okay. So that is tying into maybe transport stuff. Korea. How is Korea different than anywhere else? Why would an AI shoot at Korea? It makes no sense. Character art. Subscriber program. Frontier up, more Frontier stuff. Nothing crazy there. Ship art's always a big one. Corsair is through final art, and isn't it? I think it's confirmed for 318, right? Or they put it on 318, but it's not confirmed. It's still grayed out, probably. We're experimenting with a new setup system to trigger lights on the exterior of the ship for specific states, such as landing, when using the lift to allow for more dynamic lighting experience. Okay. So like lights where it makes sense, pointing where it makes sense, which would be good. Additional support to get the Drake Vulture ready for release. Argo SRV, which is progressing through Greyhawks. Only Hab is remaining, so that ship is moving very quickly. Final art pass on an unannounced ship, so we'll see it at CitizenCon, almost guaranteed. We're very pleased how the ship turned out. It was a great opportunity for us to push the workflow and visuals forward. For example, exterior lighting states, better looking glass, and glows on exterior lights, new damage trims, and new artwork for countermeasures. Why would one ship push new artwork for countermeasures? Interesting. An unannounced ground vehicle passed its final review. Hull C polish was concluded with all major bug improvements completed. What does that mean for the Hull C? Hard to say still. Resource management pass on the Hammerhead continued. We'll be seeing this for many, many months, probably more than a year. The new gravity generator room has been added or is being added. Work also completed on an upcoming variant. Still curious what the variant is. Community, always skip community because it's just about Bar Citizen and marketing stuff. Engine, I always skip this because it's usually over my head. Gen 12's mentioned, as always. Volumetric clouds for Gen 12. Then character features and weapons. I always typically like this stuff. Work continued on the underlying system for FPS devices, so things like shields and gadgets and all that. This involved adding features such as a timer for proximity triggers and support for behavior such as explosion and actor status effects when devices are triggered. This will, for example, allow the team to replace the out-of-date flashbang logic. Okay. Feature team also began prototyping flow for restraining NPCs and other players. What? That's cool. That's bounty hunting V2, right? That's where it is. Player can apply wrist and ankle restraints to ensure the enemy is not able to recover and resume hostilities. This is going to make player interactions way more interesting than vehicle features or feature gameplay. Salvage tier 0, okay. For example, adding benefits using an Argo mole over several prospectors. What? Additionally, they made several quality of life plans for mining and loot generation. Is it mining generation or mining general and loot generation? That will be worked on after Alpha 3.18. Both features will receive a general pass while the team is looking on how to improve multi-crew mining. For example, by adding benefits to using an Argo mole over several MISC prospectors. Very interesting. Very interesting. You know how I feel about multi-crew mining, and I am very excited for this. We'll see what they do. The EU-based PU team began supporting the US counterparts on the cargo refactor as it approaches release. That's the first time the cargo refactor has been mentioned at all. So the US team was working on it. They needed the EU to work on it. That's not a good thing to hear, but it's also good that they're still hammering away. And as it approaches its release is a positive thing to read. Mission feature is preferring its no-go and no-go for Korea and the Orison platforms and prison updates. Simple change to help prevent combat logging was also tested, with time being allocated for further work following feedback. Why is that complicated? It's so confusing to me. Game dev is crazy, man. Just put a timer. We all sit there and go, just put a timer. I wonder what's so difficult about it. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. It's crazy. Testing progressed well with crime stat 1 and 2 severity. Very good. Significant progress was made on time trials too. This was the racing time trials that we heard a while back, including improvements on how to allow designers to create an infinite number of checkpoints of any shape with the area tools. Very nice. September also saw progress on the investigation missions. Very cool. We feel we're ready to let narrative go wild with creating mysteries aboard a variety of ships and surrounding environments. Nice. Work with the UI on the redesign of the contract manager began in earnest, with specific features and problems being worked through each week. Finally, for mission features, plans for the team's work up to Q2 2023 were proposed, including many new long-anticipated mission types. That is the best part of the report so far. That was a meaty mission section where it is normally not. Vehicle features, persistent entity streaming, spent time improving older systems, including tiles, underlining tech. For example, making weapons significantly more accurate, okay, and reliable in vehicles. All right. For new systems, the team worked on the EUPU resource network, converting vehicle systems to utilize the new implementation. All right. They also progressed on features driven by the needs of Squadron 42, MFDs, and others. Graphics, typically skip this unless we see something related to things like FPS scanning. There you go. That's a big one for VFX. AR rendering. What else? Resource streaming systems. Go for simplifying code. More damage map for salvage. I imagine we've seen a lot of that. Planet Team are in the process of delivering Rastar V1. That was something we had seen at a CitizenCon previously. That's the thing that drops the, I guess, bases down. So it populates planetary environments with outpost derelicts and cities. Very cool. Lighting. Pyro Ruin Station, which is probably this. Security Post Korea. EU locations. Pyro. SPK. Narrative. IAE. They also want to work closely with design on the terminals and kiosks that players interact with. It's important that screens clearly convey their function, but also provide verisimilitude for how they're supposed to be used in lore, which can be a tricky balance. Okay. Why are we using words like that? Come on. Drugs at Korea here, Interactables. They're working on closing out some of their consumable work for Ruin Station and marketing assets that will be in players' hands soon. Okay, QA, PES is obviously a big thing for them. Tech animation, face streaming. Fidelity is being mentioned. Okay, great. We'll see. Maya's deformation technology, that's the vehicle munching. Online services for Montreal, Evocati, PES, anti-cheat, crashes, account resets, all on their docket. Live tools. Integrating the new module dedicating seeing infractions committed by players. Okay. UI, star map, again, mentioned months and months and months. So many months on the star map. Interactive hollow volumes using the UI system, as well as using the standard ship radars. This will make it possible to have real-time holospheres on capital ships in the future. Okay. And then quantum travel VFX rework still. Every time we go to the VFX section, lots of stuff going on there. Hull-hugging bubble while the ship spools up. All right. Salvage effects, obviously. New vehicle had VFX passes and various bugs, fixes, and tweaks for derelict locations. Man, I'm not going to lie, boys and girls. The mission one was the one that stuck out the most to me. And that is not usually a thing. And then whatever they're going to do with mining, I hope they talk about it with us. A lot of Ruin Station stuff is big. That's probably one of the last things that they're going to be working on in Pyro, would be my guess, is Ruin Station. But yeah, man, there's a lot went on in this month. A lot went on. I guess there is no CitizenCon demo, but there are certainly a lot of things that they want to show. So that's kind of a big deal. But that was the monthly report. I guess this is definitely going to be on YouTube, so let me know what you guys think about it and anything that stuck out to you that maybe I skipped over or didn't spend as much time on as you maybe would have. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment down below, all that stuff. I also have Discord, and I do these live on Twitch, so twitch.tv/SaltEMike and discord.gg/SaltEMike. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.